What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with my playoff prediction for the Eastern Conference series that we know so far to get a head start. We're going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami NBA Eastern Conference champions, a team that was able to get past the Bucks fairly easy last year in 5 games, and they get a chance to play it back. Like Giannis went down and people thought he was the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and maybe they can get back to the conference finals and maybe to the finals, and they ended up losing in the second round. This time they got a tough matchup in the first round, and it's because the Bucks finished third, and it's because the Heat start figuring out some things late in the season. Jimmy Butler has had a fantastic year. I had him as an all defensive player and an all NBA player this season. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be an all star, but he still capped it off pretty well. He has really been engaged. He's been holding guys accountable. He's been demanding. He's been trying to get these guys to have that fire in their belly because this is the time for you to get it right because you have a chance to win a title. And we've seen Jimmy Butler elevate his game to higher standards this year, not just because he did it this season, but he also did it in the playoffs and in the NBA Finals. And he didn't have the finals type of season, but he did have his best season to me to date. And that's impressive, especially because he's healthy now. He's been in and out of the lineup all season, and now he's starting to hold it together. And now the Bucks have to be ready. You know, the Bucks have been an inconsistent team. Sometimes they look like a championship contender. Sometimes they just look like another team in the East. They don't look like a dominant third seed. They look like a team that's third because they're better than everybody else, but they're not at the level of a Philly and at the level of a Brooklyn when they're playing their best basketball. Giannis is a guy that is an X factor, as funny as it sounds, because Giannis can be dominant, where he's just killing you in transition. He's destroying you with his dunking and his playmaking and rebounding and aggressiveness, and sometimes he disappears. We even seen that last year in this series where Giannis just didn't have enough to take over. He just didn't do enough to dominate on a every game basis, and that's what you have to do if you're a superstar. That's what you have to do if you're a $220 million man and you're the face of the franchise. And we haven't seen Giannis go on that dominant postseason run. The furthest he got was the Eastern Conference Finals, and they ended up losing 4 straight games. You know, they was up 2-0 and they lost 4 straight to Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors, which shows you that Giannis still has another level to take. He has been a top 10 player for a couple years now, but he needs to establish himself as the best player in the East, as the best player in the world, and he's almost there. He just haven't been able to get that mantle and just take it. He has the potential, he has the body, he has the upside, but the shooting just isn't there. He's showing a lot more confidence in his mid range. He's showing a lot more confidence in his three ball, and he's shooting more free throws. But the efficiency still has to be improved significantly if he really wants to take down a team like the Nets, the Sixers, or even the Lakers and the Jazz. He's going to do more. And we have yet to see Giannis do it. And maybe he gets it right this year, or maybe they go home in the first round, which will be even further. You go from the conference finals to the second round to now you have a dangerous opponent playing their best basketball in the first round that just figured out a blueprint that we all felt like they had, and they showed that they did last year. And I don't think much has changed because Drew Holiday is going to have to be a difference maker. You was able to sag off and allow Eric Bledsoe just to pick his spots. Drew Holiday is a way better player. He can hit threes. He can create his own shot. He can be a playmaker, and he's a defender that's bigger, longer, and can defend more positions and more players. And that's very, very good for the Bucks because he has had huge playoff games in his career, and he shows up. And he has been healthy for the most part this year for the Bucks, and he has had big games for the Bucks. And this is why you pay him the money that they paid him. This is why you make the trade and give up all those assets for him, is because you feel like he can be a difference maker. You feel like he can be an upgrade significantly over a Malcolm Brogdon and an Eric Bledsoe, which he should be, because Drew Holiday is still young. Drew Holiday is still hungry. Drew Holiday can still play, and I'm confident in him. Chris Middleton has took a step back to people. He hasn't get the All NBA selection. He was in the conversation last year. He didn't get the All Star selection, but he was in the conversation this year. This was still a smooth, cool year for Chris Middleton. This guy can shoot that ball. This guy can get a bucket. This guy can take over in clutch moments and knock down big shots, and you need that. If Giannis can't do it, you need people that can do it. Luckily, this year he has Drew Holiday and Middleton. And, Brook Lopez has been in and out too. He hasn't been that elite defender that he was last year. This defense hasn't been where it was last year. And Brook Lopez shooting hasn't been what it used to be. He had that season where he looked like he was the answer to all their problems. And now he had just become a respectable starter at best this year. And you look at guys like Dante DiVincenzo, a guy that they feel could really be a great starter for them and has been pretty solid, but what are they going to get out of him? Is he going to be a good defender? Is he going to knock down shots? Is he going to try to make plays when he can? And when those shots are open, those shots are there, can he take advantage of those? And that's going to be key to this series. Then you have Bam, a guy that's an all NBA caliber defender in player. This guy has had his best season also alongside Jimmy Butler this year, and this year required that. Jimmy Butler been in and out, guys not being able to stay healthy, guys not being able to stay up on the court, and Bam had to play better. He was asked and needed to do more this year, and he basically did. And Bam has been fantastic, has been a great rebounder, has been a great playmaker, has been better with the mid-range jumpers, has been better with finishing, has a lot more moves offensively than he has had since his first couple seasons, including last year. And it's good to see them give him the contract for his loyalty and his growth, but it's good for him to have an improved season coming off getting paid. Usually people get comfortable. Usually people come back the same. He has been better, and they needed him to be, and he has done it. And you have to give Bam his credit for that. And I like seeing that in a player getting better each and every year, getting a bigger role, being asked to do more, and delivering. And Bam has done that this year, and he's going to need to do it again in the playoffs. He had a big Eastern Conference final against the Celtics. He's going to need to be a big defender for them against Giannis, being able to contain them, keeping them out the paint, making him pick up his dribble, stopping him from getting space so he can get that running start, being able to help when guys get beat, or Giannis finds seams in the defense. Got to be able to rotate. Got to be able to switch on him and keep him contained. And he did that last year. We'll see if they can do it this year. Trevor Ariza is a guy that I felt was done. He didn't look good in Houston. He didn't look good and didn't really want to be in Portland. I thought he had a sour attitude, didn't even want to play in the postseason last year because of his son or whatever, but he has looked better. He has looked reinvigorated. They made a trade for him, and I really didn't know what they was going to get based on what he was doing the last couple years. And Trevor Ariza has been a solid starter for them too. Andre Iguodala plays minutes, but you know that he can make one good game, and that's usually what you would just need him. Make a couple defensive stops, hit a couple shots, make the right pass, keep the ball moving, be in the right spots, and he has done that last year. Came up big for them, and I think that he's going to be a guy that you have to watch on as a switchable and a guy that can contain guys like Middleton and Holiday to a certain extent. I think that's going to be important. Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, they shooting is going to be enormous. This team isn't the greatest offensive team. They haven't been as explosive as they was last year. Tyler Hero has been inconsistent. His shot hasn't been there like they needed him to be. He hasn't took that step that they needed him to take this year for various reasons. Duncan Robinson is key because of his ability to play multiple positions and his ability to keep the defense honest. You have to pay attention to him because he's always moving, he's always running, he's always screening. And if you don't, he'll make you pay by launching threes, making the right pass, and just understanding the game. And they're going to need him to do that because the Bucks switch a lot. And if they're going to switch, guys going to have to be able to knock down threes. And they have guys that can knock them down, but will they? They don't have Kelly Olynyk this year, which sounds crazy, but he was a good player for them last year, and he's doing actually well with the Rockets. But they don't have that. They traded that for length and mobility with the wings, and we're going to see what that helped them or hurt them at the end of the day. I also would say that when you look at the Bucks bench, they're gonna have to step up too. They made some gutsy moves with their bench, and we're gonna see will they be able to defend. We're gonna see if even guys like PJ Tucker, they made a move for him, and they sacrificed some more equity with him making that move, and they feel like he could be a huge piece for them. And a guy that can guard multiple positions and really splash threes if you help or rotate or don't pay attention to him. He can be a Duncan Robinson like player where he can make some big shots and he can, extend leads. He can help give them cushions and he can help to give them space for Giannis and Drew to probe and get to the paint and even, coming off screens, have more space so that way they can have more decisions that they can make. And I think that that's very important for the success of the Bucks. And there's a lot of players on each team. Goran Dragic is another one that was huge for them last year. Just hasn't been the same this year, coming off those injuries and not really having the explosion, not really having the jump shot. But honestly and truthfully, the Heat fans know I ain't lying. He did that last year. He didn't look like the same Goran. But when the playoffs start, he became probably their best offensive player, especially in the beginning of the playoffs. And I think that that's something that nobody's seen coming. But that was a big reason why they was able to beat a lot of teams, and that was a big reason why they was able to go to the NBA Finals. And I think that that's still a key factor. Gordon is a guy that understands the game. This is a guy that was an All NBA player. This is a guy that was an All Star. This is a guy that's still a huge part of their team and you're going to have to pay attention to him because he can still have some X factor 11, 15-point games, and that could be a difference in a series that the best of four. Also, look out for Kendrick Nunn. He's a guy that can, splash on some threes, and he's a guy that can erupt for, 20, 25 points. And the Heat going to need that three-point shooting, like I said. And Kendrick Nunn is not afraid to let it fly. If he's open or if he has space, he will let it go. They allow him to do it. They know he can make them, and he has done it these last 2 years, and I have to give him credit for that. Also, I will be putting the Bucks in six. I think the Bucks should be able to answer a lot of their problems, and I think that guys that they have now are more battle tested. I feel like not having a guy like Drew Holiday was a problem, just because Eric Bledsoe can be a dud. He just sits there, he just stands there, and even though he is an elite defender, you need guys that can make and take shots and make plays, and I think the Bucks have that, and I feel like they want this. They really disappointed, had an embarrassing, season, being number one again, and to lose to the Heat the way that they did, basically being annihilated to me, especially losing in 5 games. Really should motivate this team to go out there and prove that they are the better team. I feel like the Bucks have been inconsistent. I feel like the Heat have been inconsistent for their own reasons, but neither one of these teams are playing at that elite level, and that's why they both find themselves at the 3 and the 6 spot instead of being at the super top of the East. And a lot of these teams, we know that they can be a threat if they do play to their capabilities. But these two teams, we really don't know. We really don't know. But we do expect a great series from them, and we do expect this to be a good one. I got Bucks in 6. I really wanted to pick Miami. I really was feeling Miami, but I think that the Bucks have enough, and they should be able to get this one. Won't be easy. Should be close. Should be a tight one. But the role players are the key. I know what Jimmy can do. I know what Bam can do. I know what Giannis, to a certain extent, can do on both ends of the court, but the others are going to be the ones that's going to shine. Will Tyler and Hero Duncan Robinson step up like last year, or will they be playing like they've been playing off and on this year? Will Drew Holiday and Middleton play at their all-star levels, or will they crumble? We will see, but I think the Bucks have played better than them this year, and I think that they should be able to win this one, so I'm going to take them. I'll be back with the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See y'all in the next video.